lost a lot of guys. What's your take on the personnel, maybe the strengths and weaknesses of the personnel that's coming back?
You know, I think there's guys that have played some roles. That now it's time for those guys to step into the bigger roles. So I think there's enough guys that have played, that have experience. I think there's, at every level, there's guys that have played some snaps. And so it's figuring out who the best players are. I think our system is flexible enough to take advantage of the playmakers. You know, last year, the playmakers were the edge guys. You know, it was pretty clear. And so the defense was built around that. And, you know, hopefully that we have edge guys come on, and I think we have enough options there. But I also think it's, you know, figuring out who the best players are, taking advantage of each of their skill sets. So I like what we have coming back.
Who's really stood out to you so far as being some of those playmakers that you can kind of rely on?
You know, I think up front it starts with Mazi. I think he has potential to be a dominant player for us. He's played a good amount of snaps. He's been in a role in the defense where, you know, he was asked to do some things of taking up blocks and all that, and he'll still do that. He's tremendous at that. But I also think there's an opportunity for him to become a playmaker and use his skill set. I think he's quick, fast, big, physical. He's what you want in a nose. You know, I think Mike Morris, Taylor Upshaw are guys that have had good springs that I think will be guys that can make plays for us. I think Junior Colson has a chance to be an elite linebacker here. And then in the back end, I think there's a really good core of experience, guys that have played enough snaps. You know, and then we'll get Rod back in the fall. But I think there's a good group of guys there that just from their experience and the amount of snaps that they've played, that we can put together a good secondary as well.
You mentioned the edge rushing. You lost a lot of production with Aiden and David. How do you replicate that, or can you replicate that?
You know, to say that there's a Hutch or a Jabo like in the room right now, you know, time will tell. There's some options. I think there's schematically some things that you may have to create rushes more maybe than last year. And one of the things, you know, we got Mike Elston as our D-line coach. I think his track record of having high numbers of sacks with his D-line, you know, he's never had maybe a true elite guy there, and has done a really good job of mixing in stunts and games and things like that to create rushes. And I think that's something we're going to have to be good at. But time will tell. You know, I think there's a lot of options. There's a lot of guys that, you know, maybe felt, you know, held back a little bit by the big presence of the last two that now get a chance to step out into their own. And I'm excited to see how it goes as we go.